Joseph Hastings from GigEm 24/7 out here at Kyle Field with Carter Karels following Texas A&M's 16-10 win over Auburn on Saturday. Carter, just take me through it. What was your reaction to A&M's win, getting them to 4-0 for the first time since 2016?
Well, first of all, welcome to GigEm 247, my man. It's good to have you here. This guy's done a great job for us so far, so make sure to follow and read him. But as far as this game goes, 16-10 for A&M. If I told you before the game, a 6-point win. If I told you before the game the defense was going to play like this, you would probably take that. You'd be really happy about it. But my goodness, this team has a lot to clean up. A lot of self-inflicted errors, 13 penalties, a lot of just, man, when you look at the stat sheet at the end of the day, this should have been like a 20-point win. A dominant win. A&M really dominated. 0 of 13 on third down, Auburn was. Doubled up their yards at least. Only gave up one explosive play. But overall, hey, you take the win, and this defense looked phenomenal, and that's really the best encouraging thing for A&M.
Let's go to that, because even though Auburn was able to get a touchdown, it was that following a turnover that got them all the way down to Texas A&M's 2-yard line. Can you take me through the defense, what you saw from them this week compared to what you saw the previous three, especially against Notre Dame where they led up 40?
Well, I talked with the associate head coach of the defense, Lyle Hemphill, earlier this week, wrote a story about it. And what he told me is kind of what Mike Elko's been saying is, it's not that this defense has been bad play to play. It is the miscues, the coverage busts, the missed tackles that lead to all these explosive plays. They just didn't have that today. They only gave up one explosive play, which was a great catch by Eric Singleton for 37 yards. And really, besides that, didn't give up a lot of big stuff. And I thought that nothing came easy for Jackson Arnold today. 5 sacks for this defense, got a lot of pressure. And again, 0 of 13 on third down is pretty much unheard of against an offense with a pulse. And this was an offense that put up a lot of yards on Baylor. It was an offense that, did okay against Oklahoma. Obviously, they gave up a lot of sacks against Oklahoma, but they were right there at the end of that game. And so, you look at this and you say, man, the first 3 weeks, they won a lot. They won, a shootout at Notre Dame. They gave up a lot of points to Utah State and UTSA. They won a totally different game today through just kind of like that grungy defensive battle. And Mike Elko, I asked him after the game, like, hey, when you win a game where there's a lot of self-inflicted errors and stuff, do you feel relieved, or are you more frustrated about the errors? And he was more happy about the win. He actually got a little testy with the media for a second there. But you could tell there was frustration on his part. But at the end of the day, a lot to be pleased about with how this defense played.
Absolutely, and I think it's interesting to see how Texas A&M can win in different styles. You see them win 41-40 on the road against Notre Dame, and then you have a kind of like a grinded out type of game against Auburn where, they're dominating in a lot of the statistical departments, but it's the SEC. You have weird games like this. What do you think just in terms of how A&M is able to win with these two different type of styles and the sample size we've had over the past couple of games?
Yeah, I don't know how many times we'll see them win like this. It was a quiet day for Mario Craver. Marcel Reed didn't have the best day. He missed probably would have been a 60-yard touchdown to Casey Concepcion. Le'Veon Moss had a great game, but was kind of in and out of the game. Had some issues where he was thrown up on the sideline. But ultimately, they were able to pull that out, and there were a lot of opportunities where they could have kind of faltered, right? I mean, you think about just how backbreaking of a play that was, where it's 3rd and 1. You're probably thinking, give the ball to Le'Veon Moss. The guy's been eaten today.
Especially on that drive, too, yeah.
And on that drive, too. And then, what in the world, Colin Klein? You're throwing a screen to Terry Bussey. I mean, so many things can go wrong. It just takes one bad throw, one tipped pass to lead to disaster. Whereas if you run the ball, worst case, you're 4th and inches. And we saw what led after that. Touchdown makes it 13-10. But this team responded. They didn't really give up a lot defensively after that. again, this could have really spiraled out of control. So the fact that they were able to show some resolve there, I think, speaks to the growth that this team has made under Elko.
It absolutely has. And now looking forward, you got 4-0 start right now, top 10 in the AP poll ranking, 1-0 in the SEC. Got a couple games coming up here at home against Mississippi State and Florida. Let's focus specifically on Mississippi State. They lost against Tennessee today, 41-34 in overtime. Just take me through that game a little bit. We're going to do some more preview coverage on GigEm 24/7 leading up to that one. But what are just kind of your initial thoughts heading into it?
Well, when you started the season, you thought, oh, this is an easy win. It's Mississippi State. They sucked last year. They lost Mario Craver. Now A&M's got their best player. No, Mississippi State's quite good this year. We'll see just how good, but they went toe-to-toe with Tennessee. They beat a good Arizona State team. So it's no easy game for A&M, but you could argue that Auburn posed a bigger challenge. You could argue that Florida, Auburn is a bigger challenge to that. And so you start to really look forward and you say, this team could start 7-0. You got Mississippi State next, you got Florida, then you go at Arkansas, and then after that, it's a big showdown at Death Valley against LSU, which, by the way, looked pretty human today against Ole Miss. And so you kind of look at things and you say, this team could be 7-0. They're going to be favored in their next 3 games. And we were talking today about 4-0 for the first time since 2016. It's been a long time since this team started 7-0. And I know a lot needs to happen for that to happen, so you can't look ahead too much. But this team is in that position. And you knew after that Notre Dame win, this is something where it could really build towards something, and this was just that next step. But for them to get there, they got to clean up some of those mistakes, those penalties. You think about the Mario Craver touchdown that gets wiped out because Armajé Reed Adams illegal, ineligible man downfield. Like it's stuff like that it may not cost you today, but it could cost you tomorrow.
Definitely.
So they got to clean those things up.
And you look at this team right now, 4-0, but the last 2 games are going to be the ones that we kind of look at in terms of assessing where this Texas A&M Aggies football program's at, and where they're going to be heading into these next few pivotal games. Do you think this team has an identity? 4 games into the season, do you believe that there's a set concrete identity that they know, okay, week in, week out, this is going to be us?
Well, I think what we've seen the last 2 games is this is a team that finishes games.
Yes.
Right? Like Notre Dame, really tough spot where you're down 6, you got to put together a long drive. You have 4th and goal at the 11. They were able to make the plays down the stretch. This time around, they're like I said, it could have really spiraled out of control, but their defense held up. They showed kind of that willpower to push through some of that adversity. And I say that because this is not what this team did last year. You think about the Auburn game last year, you think about South Carolina last year, you think about Texas last year. This team's just let games slip away, and their big motto this offseason was to finish. It was something that they talked about endlessly all offseason, and hey, so far they've finished these 2 games really well, and I think it only gives you more confidence when you get put in more situations where it's a 1-score game or adversity strikes. How do you respond? You think of the Notre Dame game, block punt at the very beginning of the game, that could have spiraled out of control. You look at the Auburn game last year, kind of the same thing where it spiraled out of control. But it hasn't happened to this team yet because I just think they're a lot more mature and they've gone through those experiences and know how to handle them better now.
Is that kind of a testament to the culture that Mike Elko's building? Because, you hear about it in the offseason, on the recruiting side of things, you hear it from recruits, what they tell you, what they've seen. Just in terms of the press conferences, what you've heard, what you see on the field, do you think that's just really a testament to what he's built and what he's established?
Yeah, and I think it's also a testament to the experience that he has too on around this team. They bring back their entire back 7. They bring back their whole offensive line. They bring back their starting quarterback. All their running backs. Like, this is a veteran team that has been there, done that. And so, yeah, culture, it's part of that. It's also experience, and And we still have a lot more to learn about this team. I think that it's a team that still has flaws. They're not perfect, but I think you could say that about a lot of teams in college football right now. There really isn't that one or two dominant teams like you're kind of accustomed to seeing. And so, yes, you can pick apart certain things, but A&M right now, after this win, it may not feel this way because it was ugly and all that, but they're as good as anybody right now.
Mm-hmm.
Truthfully. Now, you're not going to rank them number one next week, but I'm saying that, like, you look around the country, Clemson, LSU, like, so many teams that had all these big aspirations are fading or not pinning out to what they had hoped. And A&M's so far exceeding expectations.
They absolutely have. Carter, is there anything that you wanted to add about this game? Anything that you took away from the press conferences, leading up to the Mississippi State game that you wanted to add?
The only other thing is, Spicy Elko is fun. Part of me thinks that the questions were fair because they didn't play well. They should have won by 20. They should have, been cleaner, and it's stuff that they need to clean up.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like, I understand if all the questions are negative after a SEC win, after you're 4-0, it's understandable that you could be a little frustrated. And I encourage people to watch it because it was entertaining, and them coaches can get heated. So that was very funny.
It absolutely was, and it's on your Twitter page as well. I encourage everyone to give Carter a follow. If you want to follow recruiting news, give me a follow as well, Joseph A. Hastings. Follow the GigEm 24/7 Twitter page as well. Visit GigEm 24/7 for post-game coverage and also recruiting reactions. We got plenty coming in. Dozens of visitors were in town, including a couple of prospects committed elsewhere in the 26th class. For GigEm 24/7, it's Joseph Hastings, Carter Karels. We'll see you all next time.